Everybody's talking about manifestation and want to be a manifestor. The thing is, we humans are all manifestors already. We're just mostly unconscious of our manifestations. So let's unpack this. We humans can't stop manifesting. We are manifesting at every single second. Whether we're manifesting what we want or not is a whole different topic. In this video, I bring you the foundations, the strong, beautiful basics of manifesting for you to improve your own capabilities. Everything comes from the invisible, and in a way, the invisible is the only real thing there is. What do I mean by that? See this chair that I'm sitting on? This chair, it's very concrete, right? I'm sitting on it. And yet, it is a human creation. It doesn't exist in the natural world. Go to a forest, you're not gonna find any furniture. We humans created this. We manifested this. More specifically, there was a designer who thought about this chair in his mind and then took a piece of paper, draw it, took it to a factory that produced it to the level that it arrived in my home at some point. The original thought is the creator. The designer thought of the chair, conceptualizing it in his mind. And then he chose to act on it and to create it. Everything that you see around you, everything that is a human creation came from the mind of somebody. It was a thought that somebody decided to act on. Now you have so many thoughts every day. The thing is, you mostly don't act on them to the point that they become something physical, or do they? Now let's understand this. Many times we picture something in our minds and we create it, but the creation is not exactly like the thought. Like this chair might not be exactly like the designer anticipated it, but there were issues in the fabrication, sourcing, the material that led the final product to be different. The original idea was probably much better, more perfect. And then the execution showed the designer what he had to contemplate and take into consideration so that in his next chair, he could improve his concepts. What this is bringing is the idea that the real thing, the real chair, is the one in the designer's mind. And this one that I'm sitting on is just a symbol of the real concept that it is right here. The physical chair is nothing but an expression of the real concept. Everything in our minds is more perfect than the thing that we bring into life in the material world. But it is this process of bringing the idea into life that shows us how to create better things, what to take into considerations, and in this sense allows us to keep improving our ability to create, to keep creating better, to understand the different circumstances and conditions to take into consideration the next time we manifest something. We could say that in a way, we are learning how to become better manifestors if we start paying attention to what is happening and learning our lessons. And this way we can improve our designs. Now, this does not only apply to material things, it also applies to concepts, processes, systems. Think about the educational system, capitalism. All these things are concepts that one person or a group of people developed together that were deployed into real life. The people decided to act on their concepts and their beliefs, and in this way made them into reality. It all comes from the human mind that decides to act on its thoughts. Now, we do this all the time because we are all constantly thinking. So If we are having many negative thoughts and emotional patterns, we end up replicating them because this is what is originating, whether we are conscious of it or not. What also happens is that we have a bunch of ideas in our lives that we don't act on. None of these things like capitalism and education exist in the real world. They all came from a human mind that acts on its thoughts and so brought it into manifestation. The thing is, we're mostly not aware of what we're doing because we're all constantly thinking and acting on our thoughts. Maybe you're not thinking about creating a chair or a new system, but you are constantly creating things at work, and you are constantly having actions that are based on your beliefs and on your emotions, meaning you're constantly manifesting your life based on the invisible. The invisible is the real thing that is creating all these actions that we're taking in our lives. It is also very normal for us to put other people in pedestals based on their creations, but not realizing what we ourselves have been doing in our everyday lives, in our jobs, in our homes, be it baking a cake. Everything is creation. Now let's start getting a little bit more abstract. Picture an apple. An apple comes from the apple tree. The apple tree came from a seed. A single seed that, if well nurtured, will bring a beautiful tree to life that can give fruits, hundreds, thousands of apples for decades. Now, we focus too much on the fruits, on the results that we see on our table. But if we only focus on the abstract thing, the small thing, the consciousness of the seed that, if well nurtured, can give so much, we start understanding manifestation much better, and we also understand what to pay attention to have the results that we want. If you want to improve the visible in a good, sustainable manner, then you have to take care of the invisible, because the invisible is the seed. The invisible is where the real thing is. Everything comes from the invisible. And the invisible is the only thing that exists. Here's another facet of this that has to do with our feelings. Our so invisible within us feelings, but what they can actually bring into our lives. So we focus so much on the things that we do, the what, the work, the habits, the hobbies. But what about the how? What about where we do things from? Let me give you an example. Picture two people. They are both super environmentally friendly, both don't use plastic and are vegan. The first one of them does all of these because she is scared of collapse. She's scared there won't be enough resources for future generations. So she does this to prevent a catastrophe from happening. Now another person does exactly the same actions, but does it out of love for nature. She looks at nature, she thinks it's all so beautiful, it fills her heart and her soul, and she thinks, of course I'm gonna take care of you. I love you so much, how could I not take care of you? Same actions, two completely different places where the people are doing these actions from. So which person do you prefer to be? The one acting on fear or the one acting on love? They're doing the same thing, but it is where they're doing things from that makes their experience completely different. What you experience is what you actually live. This is your life we're talking about. So here again, the invisible is not about what we do. It is about where we do things from. Even if it looks outside the same thing, what you're actually living and manifesting in your life is different. When it comes to what you experience in your life, the invisible is more important than the visible. Everything begins within you. That's the point of origin. If you experience fear, and you act on fear, you manifest fear, you expand fear in your life. If you connect to love and you act on love, you manifest love and expand love in your life. So which one do you prefer? Two people in fairly similar situations in life can have completely different experiences. One can be extremely positive and the other can be extremely negative person. You probably heard this before. You are not what happens to you. You are what you do to what happens to you, your reactions. And your reactions are completely based on your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your inner processes are dictating what you actually make out of it and your experience. Think about it, a person who almost drowned as a child. She could either be scared of water for the rest of her life, or she could also become a professional swimmer because she wanted to beat that fear. Completely different reactions, completely based on how they took the event into themselves, how they processed it, which is again, their minds, their emotions, and the process that is going through. Changing your consciousness will change your life right there. However, the fruits, the physical fruits to show themselves might take a little while. So trust the process. Manifestation one-on-one is an invitation for you to see what is happening within you and for you to decide what seeds do you want to nurture in your life. Take good care of the seeds that you want to nurture, that you want to grow and manifest more for yourself. See what is going on within you, what kind of thoughts and feelings are you having, and if you see there's something in there that is not for your highest good, then make sure to bring some kind, loving focus into it to transform it so that you can dissolve patterns that are not contributing to yourself. And in this way, you can manifest a better reality. It all comes from the invisible within yourself. So choose wisely. To learn more about spiritual growth, get my free guide, What is Spiritual Growth? You will find the link in the video description below, together with a bunch of other supportive links for you. I am Aline Ra M, spiritual guide, healer, teacher, and I thank you for sharing your time and energy with me today.